Hello, Ebenezer mathematicians. We're here to continue our study from yesterday on partitioning a shape into equal parts. Yesterday, we went over this definition that partition means to divide a shape into equal parts. We showed all of these shapes that were divided into two equal parts, and those parts are called halves. And we say that that is 1/2 of a shape. Here is how we write the fraction 1/2. And a fraction is a part of a whole. To help you understand that just a little bit better, this now becomes a fraction. One part is shaded or colored out of two parts altogether. This is how we write that fraction, 1/2. It does not matter how my circle is divided. It still is 1/2 of that shape is colored. All right, look at this, which looks like a sandwich a little bit. Sometimes sandwiches are half like that. There you have one part is colored out of two parts all together. That gives us 1/2. Next, you think that shows 1/2 also? Yes, it does. One part is colored out of two parts all together. In my square, a sandwich can also be half like that. One part is shaded or colored out of two parts altogether. It can work this way also. 1/2. My rectangle, 1/2. 1/2 is shaded or colored. All of these shapes show 1/2. 1/2. And this is how we write the fraction. One part is shaded out of two parts altogether. Okay, boys and girls, let's talk about fourths now. Remember that fourths are 4 equal parts. Now, I'm going to tell you another word that we could use for fourths, and that is quarters. We could say it's divided into 4 quarters. Quarters, remember 4 quarters make $1. Before I show you and talk about these shapes, remembering the clock, remembering that Miss Reinhardt talked about our clock being divided into 4 quarters. Remember, 12:15 is a quarter past 12. That's 1/4 of the clock. Another quarter of the clock would be 12:30. Another quarter would be 12:45. And then, so at 12, 3, 6, and 9, our clock is divided into 4 parts, divided into 4 quarters. That's just a little connection that Mrs. Hodge wanted to share with you about telling time. Quarter after, quarter till, divided into 4 parts on our clock. Now, let's take a look at the quarters or the fourths on this chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They are all divided into fourths. Look at what happens when I cover up one of those shapes. I then have a fraction which is 1/4. What does that mean? That means that one part is colored or shaded out of 4 parts altogether. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, look here. Let's say I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. What is my fraction going to be there? Woo! My fraction's going to be 2 parts are shaded out of 4 parts altogether. And we say that fraction 2/4. Good job, guys. Here we have 4 parts or 4/4. And we're going to cover or shade in 3. 3 parts are colored out of 4 parts altogether. Say out loud what this fraction would be. 3/4. 3 parts are colored out of 4 parts altogether. Remember, 4 equal parts can be called quarters or fourths. Great job. Boys and girls, Mrs. Hodge has been baking this afternoon, and I have been baking some brownies. Now, I want some for myself, and I've invited 2 friends over. So I cannot put them into 2 equal parts. I cannot put them into 4 equal parts. I had to try to put them into 3 equal parts so that I could have some and my 2 friends could have some. So we're going to talk today about how many parts? 3 equal parts, and 3 equal parts are thirds. 3 equal parts are thirds. If we look at our circle here, hey, if we turn that, that might look a little bit like a peace sign, or maybe if we turned it another way, it might look a little bit like a Y. Or here is my rectangle, which has 3 equal parts. Very, very interesting. Now, if I want to make a fraction with this, let's say I do this. What would my fraction be? Now remember, 1 part is colored or shaded out of how many parts altogether? Think now, what would your fraction be? It would be 1/3. You are correct. 1 part is shaded out of 3 parts altogether. Great job. Now, looking at this, think to yourself, what would this fraction be? Remember, top number is how many are colored or shaded. The bottom number is how many are all together. How many are colored or shaded? How many are all together? My fraction would be 2/3. 2 parts are colored or shaded out of 1, 2, 3 parts all together. That is how we write fractions, guys. Now, let's think about what we've done. We've talked about halves, 2 parts. We've talked about fourths, 4 parts. We've talked about thirds, 3 parts. Now, I want us to think back in the classroom, guys. When we have done a foldable in class and we fold our paper one time, we have made a half. We have made 2 equal parts. Well, you remember sometimes you're asked to fold it one time and then fold it again. You've made 4 equal parts. Very good. Think back to your social studies brochure we were doing at school. That was 3 equal parts that we made and we did our assignment on. Just, we use that all the time. We use equal parts all the time. Now, hopefully this is going to help you as you are working on your sheet tomorrow or today, excuse me, because you are going to have to know the word partition because that's the word that is at the beginning of each one of these. Partition the shape. So the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to partition the shape. But Mrs. Hodge, how do I know how many parts to make the shape? Remember our fraction. The bottom number in our fraction tells us how many parts we need to have. So in the first one, we're going to partition into 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, 3 parts, 2 parts, 4 parts, 4 parts, 4 parts. I've got a partition. Remember what the top number shows us. The top number shows us how many we're going to color in, how many we're going to shade. 1, 2, and I'm going to let you do the rest on your own. Turn over. This time, oh, they've done some of the work for you. They've already partitioned. They've already shaded or colored. All you do is you write the fraction. Mrs. Hodge has done this one right here for you to give you an example. Out of these 4 pieces, 1 part is colored out of 4 parts altogether. So we call that fraction 1/4. And you will continue to look at this sheet and write the fraction for the answers. Down here at the bottom, these are some challenge. Going to see how many of you are up to the challenge. Partition the rectangle into 2 columns and 3 rows. Columns go down. So I need 2 columns going down. Rows go across. So I need 3 rows going across. How many total parts are there? I'm going to tell you a little secret. Rows and columns are going to be really talked about next week when we're talking about arrays and beginning multiplication. These are 2 challenges. Give it your best shot. I know you can do it. And have fun while partitioning and working on fractions. Have fun. See you next time. Bye.